I'm terrified of heights, but I love flying. It's just weird. Yeah.
Interesting.
If you put me to go out on that balcony right now, butterflies all over my belly.
I understand, but don't ever call my terrace a balcony again. Okay? Hi guys, welcome to the next episode of the Serwa Show. I'm Michael and I have a great friend here today, Romeo. Hi Romeo.
Hey Mike, how are you?
Thanks for coming down.
Good, thank you.
Let me tell you something about this guy. Jesus, where should I start? He's a serial entrepreneur, and we will get to that. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship a lot today. But also speaker, author, and coach. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about, but we really want to go down and focus on the entrepreneurship because he has done some amazing stuff and he's one of the hardest working entrepreneurs I know. How are you today?
Good. Great to see you again.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And
it's been a while.
Yeah, couple of weeks, couple of months.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I just keep seeing you on the show, So
it's like
showing everyone, that's my friend.
Yeah, I used to hang out with him before he get famous. Now he doesn't
answer my phone calls. He puts me to his PA.
Everybody says that.
I know.
I don't know the reputation that I have now. Tell me about this transition because you had a very successful. I was talking about Romeo's entrepreneurship. But before you became an entrepreneur, you had a very successful corporate career.
Yeah.
What made you go from corporate, because I know we were on a very good salary.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you how much, because I don't want you to can you borrow me some money? No, I'm not going to tell you how much, but a lot. And then typically people on such a good salary, having I think it was a managing director was the last position, they typically stay and then go to the CEO level. Yeah. What made you leave corporate and move towards entrepreneurship?
Well, I've always been an entrepreneur,
right?
By heart. I got my first, I'd say, bite in entrepreneurship when I was 16, doing in college.
Right.
And
don't tell us what you were selling, right?
No. No. It's totally legal, right? So I was having.
Was it in the UK or back in Jamaica?
No, it was back in Jamaica.
We definitely don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Your book. No. What was it?
Yeah, so I was actually having issues paying my tuition.
Right.
And my mother was having a hard time finding the money to do that. And I was boarding with this lady in Kingston, and her daughter was doing this baking course at the local cookery school. And so she used to bake all these cakes and brought them home, and they were on the dining room table.
What a great friend to have.
And there was, exactly, but there were three of us, and we couldn't eat it all off. So I just struck a deal with her. I was like, listen, I'll take them to school, I'll sell them.
I'll keep all the money.
No. And we'll split the money. So I bought some movie tickets, and I just took them to school, and I started doing raffle. So I started raffling the cakes, and I started making money to put myself through college. And ever since that, I've started one business.
You got your entrepreneurial back.
Yeah, I got my entrepreneurship spirit from that. And I entered corporate because, of course, growing up in a country like Jamaica, my mom's a teacher. Entrepreneurship is not something that they want the kids to aspire to. Most black families want their kids to be a lawyer or a doctor.
Safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, it's like a status thing.
Absolutely. Bring
Holland.
the money in, that kind of stuff.
My son is a doctor.
Yeah, absolutely, right?
He's miserable, but he's a doctor. He hates it, but
he's a doctor. He's a doctor. Yeah. So I couldn't really tell my mother that's what I wanted to do. So I got a job with this guy called Lothrop Fuller Duncan. He was the 42nd richest man in the US.
Wow.
And he had some interest in Jamaica. And at 19, I became almost like his PA, his little go-to boy. So, I would drive his car pick him up at the airport. Didn't have a license, but
Who cares about
exactly
license?
right.
But when
But
you work for the 41st, the richest man in the US, you don't need a license.
the police didn't even stop because his license plate was LFD, Lothrop Fuller Duncan. So everyone knew who this man was.
Which was it in No, it was in States.
No, he was in Jamaica.
Okay.
Because he loved Jamaica because he had a lot of investment interest in Jamaica. So because of
was
the warm
living between
climate,
the two countries.
exactly. He had his private jet. He had a yacht in Jamaica. So I was on his yacht with him and his friends, going marlin fishing. Taking care of his apartment and
I
stuff.
thought I had a good time when I was a teenager. I don't think about it anymore. I thought that I was cool.
But I learned so much from him just by listening to he and his friends having the conversation.
I'm sure you're like
Yeah.
serving tea, but they're like.
Absolutely, yeah, and he used to give me some really good advice, and ever since that, I decided that I wanted to own and run my own business.
So would it be fair to say he was like one of your first role models?
He was one of my first role models.
Because your father wasn't an entrepreneur at all.
My father,
he had a job.
No, my father was an accountant, although he dabbled in it because my father was an accountant in the U.S. Army in Cuba, in Guantanamo Bay.
Right.
And then he came back to Jamaica. When he came back to Jamaica, he started working for the mining company, the bauxite mining company. But then he also had a banana estate as well. So he was juggling both of those. And in his later life, he then started doing the banana plantation full time. But my dad died when I was 9 years old. So even though he was there for that short period of time, the influence after that time wasn't there.
So between age and 9 and meeting the 41st richest guy, did you have any male role models? Somebody you could look up to?
I would say yes.
Uncles,
come to think of it, my father's best friend, we call him Uncle Busha. He is actually married to my father's cousin, but is almost like my father's sister. So when my father died, he stepped into our lives and became our dad. So brilliant man. I love him to bits.
What did he do?
So he used to work at the mining company as well, but he also had a trucking business on the side.
Right.
And when he left, he then went into the trucking business full time.
How's that in Jamaica? Everybody has something on the side.
That's just how the culture is.
There's a job, but there's something on the side.
Absolutely.
Get some money.
Yeah, because even when I was in Jamaica and I was working in corporate full time in major roles, I always had a business on the side.
It's like a culture of hustling, like being a hustler.
Absolutely.
Because you are a hustler. Now I understand why.
Yeah.
Because you grew up in that culture of let's be clever. Let's figure out a way of getting some extra cash to be on the safe side.
To be on the safe side,
great.
yeah.
That's great.
Because and especially if you come from from a kind of poor background, you always wanted to say, you know what, I need to have some kind of safety net. Don't want to go back there. And you're also thinking about taking care of your parents because that's something with us as well. We don't have nursing homes. So,
right.
So
shit. Oops.
So when your parents get old, you have the responsibility to take care of them, right? You're right. And especially being like, I'm the eldest son.
Oh shit.
Yeah, exactly. Even double shit. Totally, right? Totally. So I had no choice, to do that, and because my father died. When my father died, we kind of lost everything because the bank came in, foreclosed on the properties. We lost the house, everything.
Yeah.
So we had to go live with my grandmother on my mother's side in a small house, and therefore being the eldest son, I had to forego a lot of things early in order to make sure that my siblings were taken care of. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So it's interesting how the environment dictates our performance. So if we were born, because Poland is similar in terms of economy, I would say, than Jamaica, maybe I don't know how similar, but like if we were born in Montreal, if we were born in Montreal or New York, or probably we wouldn't learn the skills that we've learned.
Oh, absolutely not.
We wouldn't be forced to hustle as much.
Absolutely not.
So
and
it's.
I was happy to be born and brought up in a culture like that. And I think it made it easier when I came to the UK or when I went to Canada or when I went to the US for me to adapt and function because from an early age, I had no choice but to adapt because, when my dad was alive, we were pretty comfortable, middle-class family, had everything, being dropped at school, all that kind of stuff. And then when he died, in the blink of an eye, boom.
You had to become a man at age 9.
Absolutely, I had to become a man at age 9 because, my dad, my mother gave birth on the Tuesday. My dad died on the Wednesday. So, being the eldest son, I had to grow up really fast. I had to grow up so fast. I kind of missed out a lot of my childhood because I had responsibilities from the age of 9.
Girlfriends?
No.
Okay.
No.
Everything else doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
Like when you're a teenager, 16, 17, you don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah.
How old were you when you came to London?
Or
you left Jamaica for the country and then you came to London?
So I got a job after working with Lothrop Fuller Duncan. I got a job in the airline industry and spent quite a number of years in the airline industry. And because of that, I was able to move and work in different countries. Right. So I worked in the US, I worked all over the Caribbean, I worked here in London, in Canada. So, I was moving in and out.
Which airline was it? Was it one airline? Or?
No, so I started working for BWIA, which is now Caribbean Airways. This was national carrier of Trinidad and Tobago. Right. And then I was headhunted when Butch Stewart, who owned Sandals Hotels chain, he bought Air Jamaica, the national carrier of Jamaica. And so I went over to Air Jamaica. And then after Air Jamaica, I started my own consultancy and doing airline startups in the Caribbean. So I started up 3 main carriers in the Caribbean. Wow. EC Express, Caribbean Star, and Caribbean Express.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So. Wow.
So now when you're on the plane, you can see everything like.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it is that you know this. I'm terrified of heights, but I love flying. It's just weird. Yeah.
Interesting.
If you put me to go out on that balcony right now, butterflies all over my belly.
I understand, but don't ever call my terrace a balcony again. Okay?
My apologies. Yeah, I can see the lawn actually.
I have a 20-year guarantee on this artificial grass, and I have a balcony as well on the other floor. So don't diminish my accomplishment here.
My humblest apologies, sir.
Of building this palace here in the center of London.
Yeah, the terrace.
Yeah, the terrace.
Yes.
With that, not with A.
Exactly, the terrace.
That's where the magic happens inside. Okay,
so I moved to London fully when I was 35. Okay. I came here to study.
It's not in the 80s, yeah?
This man.
It's expensive moisturizer. When you make as much money as him, you can make yourself look 20 years younger.
Botox and all that.
He's actually older than Denzel Washington.
But not as rich yet.
Can I have the number? Not yet.
Yeah,
can I have the number of your because it's lots of the work. The plastic surgeons look amazing.
It's amazing, yeah.
For 65 years old, you look so young. So 35, you were in London.
Yeah, I came here to study.
I think one thing I figured that one thing we have in common. We have many things in common, but one thing we have in common is that we came from not so economically developed countries. So I'm Polish for those of you.
At one time, Poland was classified as a third world country as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Or if I learned that, I erase it from my memory. One or the other. But I think one of the things we have in common is that we came here without a chip on the shoulder.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you often talk about black people coming here and feeling like they're not as good as British people or something like that. And it's the same with Eastern European people. I've seen so many Polish people coming here feeling like, okay, English is not my first language. I'm from a poor country. Especially now Poland is not doing too badly. But 10 years ago when I came here in 2005, it wasn't great. It wasn't a poverty. There's no poverty as such, but it's nowhere near to Western Europe.
Yeah.
And I remember coming here at age 22 on the bus for 27 hours because I couldn't afford the plane ticket. Right. I came here with the attitude, I'm gonna fucking own it.
Oh, absolutely.
It doesn't matter where I'm from. Nothing. It's just I'm gonna own it because my attitude will dictate my success. Nothing else.
Absolutely.
And I know you're on the same page with me.
Attitude determines altitude. Attitude determines altitude. As Tony Robbins always say, your emotion dictates your motion. So if you come in with an attitude that, you know what,
You know, it's good.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
As we would say in
That's
Jamaica,
exactly what you do.
as we'd say in Jamaica, down the road we're going. In other words, I'm going down the road, and anybody or anything that's in
Get
my
out of
way,
my way.
get out of my way. I'm not stopping. I'm going down the road.
That's it.
You know, and that has kind of become my mantra to say, you know, it's down the road I'm going. You know, so when I came here in 2005, to be honest with you, I came here with the intention of not staying in the UK.
Right.
I came here with the intention of studying and then going back to Jamaica because I was very involved in politics in Jamaica. I used to be, I've been involved in politics since the age of 16 as well. You know, I used to do research and speech writing for senators and members of parliaments and former prime ministers and that kind of stuff. So the intention was to study and go back to Jamaica, be appointed a senator, you know, become Minister of Foreign Affairs, blah, blah, blah.
Your mom's dream.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, my son is in politics.
Oh, my days. You know, he's Senator so-and-so. You know. But when I came here, I realized that in Jamaica, I was a big fish in a small pond. And I also realized that I was limiting myself too much because I was pretty much at the peak of where I could have been in Jamaica. And that realization came when I was doing my master's and I got the largest soft drink manufacturing company in the UK, AG Bar, sponsored my dissertation. And they sent me to Poland, they sent me to Russia, you know. Just to study.
I would quit.
And the fact is that, you know, so I'm like, this is what it feels like to work in a real international corporate environment, right? And
so suddenly things were not as easy as back in Jamaica when you were already as established.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but then
But you
also
knew you were playing with big fish.
Absolutely, I was. And then the fact that I also went to, you know, one of the top business schools in London. I was able to be, you know, I was in the same class with a former president's daughter of Nigeria, with one of the shipping tycoon's son from Greece. You know, this guy his father is a member of the House of Lords. So I was networking with people was way above, you know, anybody of even the highest echelon in Jamaica. You know, they even had more money than the richest man I worked for in the Caribbean, which was Gordon Wood Stewart, and they're in their trust fund. You understand me?
Yeah.
So it just kind of it's almost as if at the time, you know, my mind was this, and then by meeting them, my mind just started opening up of all the possibilities.
This was possible. Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is amazing, you know.
And what's interesting for me is because that's the kind of mindset you wanna, as a speaker, as a coach, as an author. I know that the message will work for other people than black professionals, but I know that's your niche.
Yes.
Because that's who you resonate with the most, and you wanna basically send this message of, you don't have to think the way you think. You can think the way I think. It's up to you. You get to choose, right? Tell me more about this. How do you feel about this?
I mean,
this is something you're very passionate about.
Yeah, I'm very, very passionate about it. And, you know, you spoke about the fact that, you know, I left corporate. It's one of the reasons that it drove me to leave corporate, because I was realizing that especially black professionals in the UK tend to put a limit on where they think they can
climb.
Exactly. And even if they are an entrepreneur running their own business, they still tend to put a limit. Yeah, they tend to put a limit. And I'm not, you know, it sounds very generalistic, you know, and I'm not saying that is everyone thinks like that, right? Yeah. But majority of the ones I've come in contact with.
I can understand the polish.
Right, you know.
There will be exceptions.
Yeah,
like one is sitting here, but other... Yeah.
And like you, coming from Poland, and you have decided, no one is going to put a limit on me. There's no jar big enough to close my
ego. Just
exactly, right? And that's the same attitude I had. I'm like, people talking to me about glass ceiling. I'm like, glass ceiling?
What ceiling?
What ceiling? And I said to them, if there's a ceiling up there, I'm going up with a sledgehammer because I'm shattering that.
That's it.
You know, don't, you know, and so therefore I'm trying to kind of, my dream is to try and educate black professionals and black entrepreneurs to say, look, don't put a lid on your jar. Don't limit yourself to what you can achieve. There is absolutely no limits, none whatsoever, right? So no matter what the society might say to you, no matter what people.
Even parents maybe, because if they're in
Absolutely,
that mindset, they can,
absolutely.
Whoa, son, you really?
Teachers as well.
Really?
Teachers. I had a friend who he told his teacher that he wanted to be a barrister, and the teacher told him, no, I think you should either go for a bus driver or a concierge.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine? What that does to a teenager to be told
especially
that?
a teenager, right?
Yeah. But the thing I liked about him is that he didn't allow that label to stick. He's now a barrister, and a successful barrister now, right? And he said to me, I wanted to prove that teacher wrong.
Yes, so sometimes it works actually
Absolutely.
in a positive way. Yeah.
It won't
but let's face it, most teenagers would be.
Yeah, exactly.
You kill the dream.
You kill it.
One thing I don't like is people, I call them dream killers.
Yeah.
They don't believe they can do something themselves. So this teacher probably he or she could not possibly imagine to be a barrister themselves.
Yes, yeah.
And they try to kind of kill somebody else's dream. Because they project their own insecurity or their own values on somebody else. So that's why the world people need people like yourself.
I mean,
to counterbalance this
absolutely
dream killers.
And the fact is that the earlier you start doing this kind of thing, the better. I run this program called the Mentoring Circle, where I mentor. Right now, I have about 27 of them in the group. These are young professionals, university students, young people from different communities, and we sometimes meet together as a group, or we meet one-on-one. But I try to expose them to different things that are happening, so that things like taking them to the ballet, taking them to the art gallery, and they're like, wow, these things do exist, but it's a matter of just opening up their eyes to the possibilities, to the possibilities that exist, and the fact that a lot of them are at home or live in communities where they aren't any role models. The role models that they see are the gangsters and the this and the that, and they also live with parents who would say to them, you need to go find a job, go find a cleaning job, go do this, go do that, and
don't aim too high, be realistic.
Exactly, don't aim too high, be realistic, and as you say, dream killers, some of them are, I mean, there's this one guy who is a brilliant artist. When you see this guy draw stuff, it's just brilliant. But his parents just don't think that is a career that he needs to get into. And it's just a matter of just trying to help them to cultivate that mindset, to say, okay, these people over here are saying these things, put a barrier up. Okay, don't let them get to your psyche. If they're talking to you, try and start thinking about something pleasant. Start thinking about that girl you love and all the stuff you're doing to them.
Victoria's Secret models.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And just let them speak and let it just bounce off, right? Because if you allow that to if you allow it to sink in, it just kills it. And it's people like you, just kind of show people that, look, there is just you've been here 10 years.
10 years. 2005, I realized when you said
came here as well.
10 years.
And there are people who are born, grown in this country, know everything, and they haven't even achieved,
No, but seriously, when I have to make it clear, I absolutely love British society in general. This is my home. I like British people. I like everybody. So it's not like I like British people. I have nothing against British people. But when I see that the British person born here complaining about economy, that it's hard, I'm like, is it?
Yeah.
I came here. I could barely speak English.
Or about poverty, about poor.
I was like, really? For me, seriously, because we came from different countries. For us, the way I look at it, and I really don't want to sound disrespectful toward anybody, but seriously, in this economy or in States or Canada, this kind of countries, if you're not working and you're not disabled or anything like that, if you can't find a job, you probably don't look hard enough.
Yeah.
Because I think unemployment percentage is 5%. I know it's 5%, but there was a period when I left my fashion retail career, and when I was just starting my coaching business, I was on a job seeker allowance. I was so broke, and I thought, this £270 a month, which is now what I spend on a good date.
I know. You're at that level now.
Sorry, on a bad date. On an average date. I'm joking. Hard joking. I was getting to pick up this or sign every 2 weeks, I think it was, for 6 months. And I would look around. First of all, I felt like I didn't belong there because I knew I have something I wanted to work, and I was actually building my coaching business like day in, day out.
Right.
Just the money wasn't coming in yet, or very little money was coming in. So this £270 a month was making a difference. But I would look around, and majority of these people were, obviously, because we are in England, they were English, and I would look at them like, they don't seem like someone who's struggling. They seem like someone who's not even trying. And it's just the easy money. And I thought, this is bullshit, you know. So when I see, I know again there will be exceptions because I have a good friend actually who's a great guy, very hardworking. But there was a period when he became homeless. But generally speaking, to be homeless in this society, get the fuck out of here.
Well, I mean,
seriously, for one day, for a week, for a month, but like for years, come on, please,
that's
please,
so true.
give me a break.
And you know, it depends. So, for example, I agree with you totally, but and the only time I would sympathize with anyone like that is, for example, someone like myself who came here on like a highly skilled migrant visa, and you're not entitled to public funds, so you basically have to fend for yourself. You know, but then it comes back again to your mindset. I remember when I was made redundant from Accenture, and yes, I got some redundancy money from that.
Only a few million, so it was like, what am I gonna do with this?
But it was at the time when I had to. It came at a time when there was the financial crisis. You know, my sister and I lost a lot of money, like millions of US dollars that we had invested. My grandmother died, who was like my soulmate. And then I was also going through the period of resubmitting for my application to renew my visa at the Home Office. And you know, well, I don't know if you know, but the Home Office is like hell on earth. It takes, if you don't dot an I, they bounce your application.
You know they're gonna put the show down. Now they're gonna be like, YouTube, hello, this is Home Office. You know this Michael Serwa show? The second biggest show after Oprah. I don't like the way they talk about us, you know.
But everyone will tell you it's the truth, right? So it took me almost a year to get my visa renewed.
Wow.
And therefore, you know, I couldn't get job seekers allowance because I was not entitled to it because of the visa I was here on. So what did I do? I started a cleaning business.
You hustled, basically.
Of course.
Yeah.
I hustled. I had to, right?
Two options: sit on your ass and complain.
Absolutely.
Option B, you go and hustle.
You go and hustle, right? You know, you have to just stop giving excuses.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times it's just excuses.
Absolutely.
Just
That's
excuses.
the point I was trying to make with most of homeless people and most of people on job seeker allowance.
Just excuses.
It's by choice. It's not by circumstances.
And within 2-3 months, that cleaning business was booming. I was able to take care of my family, you know, do all that kind of stuff. Michael, I was traveling on buses with a huge
So you were
vacuum
you were cleaning yourself.
I was cleaning myself. I couldn't. I had some people with me as well, but I was actually physically
leading the
way and going, because you know what, I had to train them because for me quality was important because I targeted the areas I wanted to get work from.
And you see, this is how interesting is that after working for this richest man out there, you know, working as well, but not so much physically probably. It's like, you know what, but that was back then. Now I'm in a different environment. What I need to do, I need to adjust.
Oh, absolutely. But I was coming from Accenture. I was working for Accenture.
Yeah.
Where I had a gold American Express card because I was a senior manager. If I was going to South Africa, I could book a private jet to take me there to take care of clients' business.
Right.
You know, I traveled business class. I was living in a nice house in Stanmore. I was pretty
next thing you know, rubber gloves.
And then exactly down there cleaning.
But you see,
and stuff like that.
I'm sure, because I know you didn't feel like, my God, I'm too good for this.
Hell no.
No sense of entitlement.
Hell no.
Because of the humble background.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
You've never forgotten that. That's the same here.
And the thing is, I always say to people, everything that has happened in your life has happened for a reason. Everything that happens in your life happens to push you towards that purpose that you're here for. Because
to teach you humility.
Absolutely. Because, you know, I used to be angry with God for taking my dad. Because I love my dad so much. I used to be so angry. But you know what, Michael? Later on in life, I thank God for doing that. Because if my father was alive, I would not be the man that I am now. Would not. My siblings would not have been. Because, you know, he made us so comfortable that we probably wouldn't even think about going to school and doing well, or have the kind of mindset that we have right now. You know, we would have just be. I look at some of my cousins whose parents were still comfortable, and we're leaps and bounds. Myself and all my siblings, and that's because my father was the universe ensured that he took that person out of the picture to teach me and to give me the experiences that I've had, to become who I am, and to be delivering and helping the people who I want to help with what I'm doing now. So I'm thankful for that, and
now you can lead other people towards that.
Oh, absolutely.
You have that experience, and they can't look at you as like, oh, it's easy for him to say because he had everything handed on the plate. It's the same people often when the people know my full story, they resonate with it because I'm in an okay place, in a good place, but it wasn't always the case.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't come from poverty, but I came from a very, very kind of working class kind of family in Poland, and like I was saying, I didn't come with anything. I didn't have any money. Not just I didn't have any money. I came with a high maintenance girlfriend. So I wasn't fucked. I was just double fucked. But not for a second. I sat there, age 22, and felt sorry for myself.
You can't,
because I never and what you see sometimes with. Of course, there are exceptions. I work with some young people who inherited lots of money from the grandparents. And they're the most amazing people. So I don't want to kind of generalize too much. But there's lots of, even in my building, lots of people, they have money, they have the sense of entitlement.
Yes.
They think they're better than my porter, than the cleaners here, than the taxi driver, because they came from money, and they just like, even the way they walk, they won't even say hi sometimes because they just don't care.
Yeah.
And I don't resonate with people like that, because I was like, I don't care how much money you have, or how rich your father is, especially if you're young, you're spending your dad's money, don't act like a big shot, because you're not. Like, you haven't done anything yet, you're just spending your dad's money. Good for you, I'm not jealous.
Yeah.
But I think because of the experience, the background that we came from, we are very grounded, you and me,
or
people
absolutely.
like us, because I never forgotten how tough it was for my parents, and now I help my parents financially, and this is the single best piece of money I spend every month. I love it.
Believe you me.
I love it.
Believe you me. I mean,
especially the pounds go a long way in Poland.
in Jamaica as well.
It's not that much here, but for them it's like, whoa, luxury time,
In Jamaica, I mean, I think two things that has happened in my life that just made me really, really very happy. My brother and I, we made a pact when my mother lost her house, that we were going to buy our mom back a house. And the day we were able to do that,
wow,
I was like one of the happiest men.
Were you actually physically there when?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How did you? Tell me about, like, did you tell her, Mom, we're gonna buy your house, or you just went there?
No. We told her. Well, we didn't tell her at that time when we made the pact as children.
Right.
As
children.
Yes, as children we made the pact.
How old were you?
We were like 10, 11 years old. Wow. Because my mother had it hard, really hard. I remember. So I ended up I got the scholarship to go to a semi-private boarding school in Jamaica, and very wealthy families came there and stuff like that, and I could relate to them because, as I said to you, I was still going to my Uncle Busha's house on holidays, so I was still kind of in that
you
upper
like
middle class circle.
Exactly,
two lives.
You had experience with
right, and so. I remember once going to my mom. She was living in Otres at the time, to collect the fees to pay the school, because it wasn't. Although they took care of the boarding and stuff, we still had to pay for like meals and stuff like that, which we paid once a month. And I remember. Every time I think about this, I get very emotional. But
good, dude. Like, people cry in opera. It's okay. We have tissues.
I remember going to meet my mom at her school on at the end of the month when she got paid, and we went to the bank, because at that time they give you a check,
right?
And she would go to the bank and she would cash it in, and she cashed the check. She took the envelope with the money and she handed it to me. That was her entire salary, right? And I remember it was raining, and we walked back from the bank to the little cottage she was staying in. And we went inside and she took her shoes off. And I realized when she took her shoes off, there was like a whole pool of water. And I'm like, Mom, and I saw her feet were wet. I'm like, why is your feet wet? She said, oh, it's raining. And I just wasn't comfortable. And I took the shoe up and I looked at it. And the entire sole of the shoe, there was a hole in it. And my mom cut cardboard and put in the shoe. And because of the rain, it melted through it.
Wow.
And Michael, my mom can tell you right now, if you go there, she has more shoes than she can ever wear. Because
you made a commitment to yourself.
I made sure that my mom would never in her life, never in her life
have a cupboard in her shoe.
Yeah, and what never. So I always just buy her. She even keeps telling me stop, but it's like a fixation. It's like, I'm like, she was
like, Romeo, I don't need any more shoes.
And the other thing as well was that my grandmother, she was a big influence in my life, because she took us in to allow my mom to go to a much bigger city to work and send money, to take care of us. And she was very spiritual, very, very spiritual. And I think it's because of her I take so much risk, because I just believe that the universe will provide. I have such unwavering faith.
Yeah.
Right? And when I think of something, I know it's going to happen. And I just trust and have faith that it is going to happen.
You have to believe first.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right?
You can't believe it, you can't.
Yeah, and that's why one of my mantras and one of the things I teach and the methodology I use in my coaching is called think it, believe it, own it. Because thought becomes things. So first you have to think it.
That's it.
Then you have to believe it. Believe it to the point where you see yourself doing it.
It's almost tangible.
Exactly.
You can almost,
like
if you want a car, you need to be able to smell the interior.
Yes, the visualization.
Yeah.
But then thinking and believing it won't make it happen. You have to own it by taking the actions that I needed to do it, right? And I remember,
sorry, that's lots of misconception about law of attraction.
Oh, absolutely.
You just sit there and think positively.
Yeah, and it will just
not gonna show up. I've tried it. It didn't work. I thought I have to work my ass off. And the secret, they forgot to put that chapter.
They
have to work.
They totally did. Because I remember when
maybe the publisher forgot to include it. I don't know. Like in the print, there's a chapter missing. Like you have to take action.
You have to
on the top of your positive thinking.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. It's just gonna.
And the Porsche's there.
Right.
I tried it. It doesn't work. Guys. Don't try it at home. I'm telling you.
It's like in Jamaica they have a saying, manna stop fall from sky. Because there was a story in the Bible where God told I think it was Joshua to go by the river, and the ravens brought bread and manna and all of that to feed him. So the secret is something like that. It's almost you just and just believe and think. And
I sat the other day. I'm waiting for the ravens. They're not.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
like, starving. Where's the bread? Where's the meat?
Shit, I'm gonna need to order Domino pizza.
But I mean, she just instilled a lot of.
Oh, that's great.
A lot of those strong beliefs.
Go get it.
Yeah.
Go get it.
And she was a seamstress. She was a dressmaker. And she would sometimes she would just be, there was no food in the house, right? And I'd say to her, so what we're gonna eat? And she's like, don't worry, the Lord will provide, because she was very spiritual. The Lord will provide. The Lord will provide. And she just always says, faith as small as a mustard seed moves mountains.
Say that again.
Faith as small as a mustard seed moves mountain.
I love this.
And a mustard seed is, like a black
tiny,
pepper grain.
Tiny, yeah.
I remember when she told me that, she poured out some black pepper and she took up one seed and she said, that's the size of a mustard seed. So if you have faith at that size, you can move any mountain, you can do anything. She said, imagine if you had faith as big as your fist. She said, never forget that. And
you never did.
Never did. Never did. Even in business, never did. And one of the things I was really happy about was that for about the last 12 years of her life, she was able to live in my house. I was able to take care of her. She had a real comfortable life. She met the Prime
Must have been
Minister.
the happiest man
Oh
on the planet.
my days!
Have you noticed that the real pleasure of making money is when we can spend it on people? that we love?
Absolutely.
Like even spending on myself is like, it's okay. Because I need the new shoe. It's like, but there's no pleasure. But when I spend on somebody else, all the friends listening to this, don't ask me for taking you out tomorrow. Like, all of them. Like, it's like
but you're
parents,
right.
girlfriends, like a serious girlfriend, best friends.
Yeah, so I mean, those two things were, when I bought the house for my mom, I was like, okay, God, you can take me home now. Yeah, And then, when I realized, when I saw the happiness in my grandmother's face, just taking care of her she died when she was in her 80s,
Okay.
and at that time, she couldn't walk, but then, I would lift her up and take her to the doctor. I'd take her to the beach, everywhere she wanted to go. I had no qualms of putting her in the wheelchair and wheeling her to an awards dinner where the Prime Minister was, and she would sit there, and everyone just,
amazing.
And even sometimes, I would even bathe my grandmother, because I just felt that was me giving back to her all that she had given to me, because she gave so much. She gave her entire life, because we were grandchildren. She had brought up 10 or 9 other kids before that, and we were grandchildren. So she didn't have to do what she did.
Unconditional love.
Exactly.
Never asking for anything.
Right.
I'm in a position to do something for her, to make a difference, I'll do it.
Absolutely. So,
instead of buying a collection of cars or watches.
Yeah.
You can have both still.
So I mean, those were two really significant things in my life, and I was really happy that the universe allowed me, and God allowed me to live in order to accomplish that.
I love this.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: if I'm a black professional watching this, and I love you, which I would expect any black professional to resonate with your story, and be like, this is the man I wanna associate myself with or spend some time with. What are the ways of kind of spending some time with you or working with you? Because you do speaking, you do coaching, and there's a book coming out called Enthusiasm Unchained. Talk to us about the coaching, speaking, and the book. Well, the different kind of platforms that people can get in touch with you.
So, I mean, you spoke about the whole notion that, I left my job in corporate, and people thought I was mad, including my mom, for doing that. What? Yeah, it's the second time I've
they made you redundant. No, I left. No, you mean they let you go? No, Mom, he's not. He lost it.
And so, and ended up doing, setting up a coaching business. The business is called Empire Builders Academy.
Right.
And Empire Builders is all about, when you look back on places like Egypt and the Egyptian empire, and how, how it was built, and the pyramids. Even today, people are marveled of how they were able to build structures.
I saw some documentary. I was amazed.
Yeah,
they can't explain it. They can't. How they build it.
They can't. And so it's symbolic, because what I want to show people of color is that there is no limit. There is absolutely no limit. Stop aiming so low. Aim for the skies, and if you miss the stars, you will fall on a cloud. If you aim for the cloud and you miss it, you fall back down to the ground, right?
On your ass.
Exactly, right? And it came out of the whole notion of also being in corporate and seeing that most of the times I was the only black person at a senior level, right? Because I've been a senior exec since the age of 25. And I just saw something very wrong with that picture. And in my last role, I started a mentoring circle. And, when I left, I think it was about 10 persons from that mentoring circle were able to get promoted because of the coaching and stuff I was doing. And I was just in corporate, and I was just really frustrated. I was just getting frustrated every day. And I was talking to my mentor, a real fantastic lady, who used to be, work for HSBC, an English lady as well. And she said to me, she said, Romeo, the only time I see you light up is when you talk about the people you coach and mentor. She said, I just see you the light you just glow. And she said to me, why don't you, since you're so frustrated in corporate, why don't you do that? You should just follow your passion and do what you want. And to be honest with you, I never thought people could make money from doing that, right? And then she started throwing some names at me. She says, "Okay, here are some people."
Michael Serwa.
Yeah, Michael Serwa.
Then the other one, Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. Yeah, that other one, Tony Robbins.
And,
yeah, Dr. John D. Martini. And,
yeah.
And I just started looking up these people.
Michael Serwa and his juniors.
Exactly, right? I started looking. I'm like, seriously,
you can make money doing what I want.
Yeah. You can make money doing that?
I would have a blast doing it. Yeah.
And then, I just started, the first year after leaving corporate, I studied with Tony, studied with Dr. John D. Martini, did some work with our friend, Jenny Remington Hobbs, Dr. Jenny Remington Hobbs. Jenny. Jenny was in the same group we were in. She had cancer and then cured herself.
Jenny?
Yeah, Jenny Remington, Dr. Jenny Remington.
Our group or the big group? Small group or big group?
Big group. I
don't remember. Probably I was.
Yeah, if you see her photograph, then
yeah.
Yeah. And other people, and then I started doing my own individual research around what makes people of color tick. What are the cultural nuances that we have abandoned that will make us progress. Who are these role models that I could use to say, look, here are people out there who have not allowed any lid to be put on their job.
We were talking about Oprah before we started.
Exactly.
Yeah? What inspiration she is.
Absolutely. People like Oprah. I mean, people don't even know that one of the world's most renowned space scientists is a black female from the UK.
Really?
People, Dr. Maggie, people don't even know that. And and once I started, connecting the dots, I then developed this methodology around how best to coach and mentor people of color, because it's no offense to people from other ethnic backgrounds or other races.
Sure.
And the methodology could work for them, definitely. But like for you, I tell you all the time that I think you were a black man in a former life, because you just identify so well with black culture.
We're listening to black music.
Exactly. He has black music listening to, and I told him I'm going to find him a wife in Jamaica. So any Jamaican woman, you have to look good and you have to have a certain shape, not too fat, but with a nice booty. He likes booty, right? Yeah. So call me, I'll hook you up.
Here's my back.
Yeah. So it's a matter of, because I understand the black culture, and because I have lived it and gone through some of the nuances and difficulties that they've gone through in corporate, and
you understand them, like,
absolutely.
And it's, if I say I understand them, which I might or might not, how believable I can be. It's like, you understand a black person?
Yeah.
If I say I was married to a black woman for 10 years, then maybe. But like, I'm from Poland and I came here. My experience with black people is having friends like yourself.
Absolutely.
So of course you're going to be more...
I'm going to Brixton because you do that.
Yeah. Of course you're going to be more in a position to do that.
Yeah.
And whatever you say is going to be way more believable.
Yeah.
So it's only logical thing to go and kind of target, to think about these people first.
Absolutely. And it's just like an innate passion to do that. I just can't explain it.
I get it.
It's almost like, I tell people all the time that I believe everyone has a seed that has been planted in their heart. It's like you and the coaching that you do. Phenomenal transformation I've seen people who have gone through your program, have gone through. People who were in their shell, you were able to just kind of let them blossom to the point where sometimes you're like, oh my God, I created a monster, kind of a situation. So it's and your best clients. You've honed in on that niche in that market.
I look for my people, and when I say my people, it's not about Eastern Europe or whatever.
Yeah.
It's because I've worked with Eastern European. I've worked with people from all continents.
Yes, all races.
All skin colors.
Yeah.
Gay and straight,
Yeah.
Muslim, atheist, it doesn't matter. It's this mentality. When I say my people, it's the people who first of all take responsibility for the fact that they are not in the best place when they come to me. Or they are in a good place, they're not in a great place, for example, but they take full responsibility for it. Because if I meet somebody for a consultation, and I meet around 200 people a year, if somebody starts to tell me that the reason they struggle is because of the parents, the economy, the government, I'm like, listen, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
Unless you take full responsibility, I can't help you. Because if the reason why you struggle is the economy, the only way I could help you with your struggle is to fix the economy. I'm quite powerful as a coach, but I'm not that powerful. Yeah.
Listen, Chancellor.
Yeah.
Osborne, just sort it out.
Yeah. Can you get me David Cameron on the
Yeah,
line?
exactly.
I
Right.
to have a word with him. No, it's so unless you take full responsibility, and I'm sure with your clients as well. And sometimes our job as a coach is to help them raise this awareness of what's going on and say, hey, I can help you, but let's cut the bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's get to the bottom of it. The only thing stopping you from being where you would like to be right now is you.
Absolutely.
And unless we're on the same page with that, we can't move forward in the coaching process. But coming back to my question, more specifically, if I'm a black professional watching it and I say, I want to work with this guy, how they can, we're going to include all the links, but what is the events that you speak at, or the events are more kind of entrepreneurial stuff?
So there are two sets of events. One is called Business Builder Program,
right?
And that's it's a 10-step program on how to grow your business.
That's
so those are for entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And then on the professional side,
there's a website to that. Or?
Yeah, it's all on empowerbuildersacademy.com.
Okay. We're gonna get
right.
Don't worry about writing it down. We're gonna include it under the video.
Exactly. And then for the professionals, it's the program is called the 6-Figure Executive.
Okay.
And we have seminars, workshops, and we also have a 6 and a 12-month program that they can go through. Yeah, which is a coaching program that they
Does it include working with you one-to-one? Do
Yes.
you have time to work with people one-to-one?
Well, yes, I do. I do work with people one-to-one.
Because how many companies do you run? Like, how many companies are you the founder of? Hit us.
Yeah, so apart from Empire Builders Academy,
apart from this,
there is Aspire Group, which has 27 companies in the portfolio at different stages, right? So
impossible is nothing.
Exactly.
If you could do it, anybody could do it.
Impossible is 2 words too long. I say that all the time.
Or you wake up in the morning thinking like, the reason why I have so many companies I'm doing so is because I'm so much more intelligent than other people.
Absolutely not.
Because I was born with this parent or that parent.
Nope.
No, it's all what you made for yourself.
Absolutely.
It's all the hustle.
It's the mindset. It's the mindset. I mean, I start my day at 4:35. I go to the gym, and then I'm in the office by 7:30, 8 o'clock. And it's one meeting after the other. Do some coaching client, do this, do that. On a Saturday, when I leave here, I'm going to meet a client.
By the way, I'm going to tell you something funny, guys. This is probably the first time I see Romeo wearing casual clothes. And because of the format of the show, he's always looking so smart. Always suit and tie. Or at least a suit jacket.
Yeah.
Always smart. So, and because of the format of the show, I called him or I left him a voice message, whatever, and I said, listen, can you do me a favor and dress down a little bit? Because usually with most of guests, I have to think, do I need to ask them to dress up?
Yeah.
Because they're like, like a t-shirt or something. And it's like, we don't wear t-shirts here. It doesn't matter, t-shirt will be fine. But like a suit, you'll be like, look very corporate.
I'll tell you, I had a really hard time this morning. What should I wear?
So what I'm trying to say is like, he found my request very difficult.
Yes.
Like, shit. Like I open my wardrobe, suit. So he's asking me to wear semi-casual. So.
Yeah, I'm like, what does that look like?
I'm out of my comfort zone right now. I'm wearing a jumper. Out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So that's speaking, coaching. Tell me about the book.
So the book Empire Builders Academy is it's written specifically for people of color, how to succeed in corporate.
That's Empire Builders, but is that because 2 books are coming? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another one.
So Enthusiasm Unchained is the first one. Empire Builders Academy is the business that I do the coaching and the mentoring on.
Right. So this one is coming up first.
This one is coming up first.
And
then the second one is going to be a book on entrepreneurship. But this one is coming out first. This one is geared towards black professionals and how to succeed in corporate. Fantastic. It has a lot of tools and mechanisms in terms of how to play the corporate game to win.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know that it's a game. It is absolutely a game.
And unless you know the rules of the game, good luck winning it.
And how to play it.
I remember you asking for reviews of Discover on Facebook.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Who are you publishing it with?
Actually,
completely.
It's so I mentor this. I started mentoring him when he was 16, And this guy didn't want to go to
I
university.
think I've met him.
Yes, you have met him.
What was
yes.
his name?
I call him OP, but his name is Usama.
Usama.
Yeah.
I hope you well, man.
And he didn't really want to go to university. And he's from a typical Caribbean family, parents, university. So he decided that he wanted to prove to his parents that he could make money. So he started doing ebooks and selling them on Amazon.
Right, so information products, yeah.
Recipe books.
I think you've mentioned that.
Yes, he started doing recipe books.
Is he a great chef or something?
No, he just searched and found for keywords, and then started doing the research and putting them together, and then putting them. And he was making, like, when I met him, he was probably making about £500 a month. Now to a teenager, that's like who has no bills, that's like lots of money, right?
Yeah.
And started mentoring him. Helping him to structure the business, making it into, I say this all the time to him, it's a sausage factory. You know, so it's the meat goes here, then it goes there, and it goes there, and it comes out in a sausage, and it goes and it sells. So, you know, right now we have a team of writers in the Philippines, we have graphic designers in Vietnam, we have editors in the US.
A little empire going on.
Yeah, it's a little empire, to the point now where he's making, I'd probably say, about £3,000 every month, which is comfortable for someone who is 18 now.
18. My God.
Right.
I'm sure he's dating all the girls want to date him.
And but the thing is that he wants to move into hardcover publication. So I could have actually gotten the book out a long time ago, but I'm allowing him to use my book as a guinea pig to learn all the steps in terms of how to publish a book. And he's been doing a great job.
Is he still working? Because you were mentoring him, or he was your assistant?
No, I was mentoring him.
Yeah,
because he was still in school. Right. But now he has left school and he's now doing this and building his business full time.
Okay.
So, you know, I allow him to use my office space. Fantastic. And, you know, he's so he's actually working through the whole publication. So in a few weeks' time, you'll see a lot of PR stuff on social media and all of that coming out. It's being launched at the House of Lords. Baroness Verma at the House of Lords.
I see you hanging out in this. I see on Facebook, like, Romeo, like, when I put, like, where I am on Facebook, it's like a bar or a restaurant. And it's like, Romeo, checked in, House of Lords. Like, another day in the office for him. You know? Like,
don't put any limits on what you can do, right? It's just like, you know.
Romeo, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. Guys, like I said, I'm going to include all the links to Romeo's stuff under the video. And also, as soon as the book is out, we're going to add the link. So when you're watching it a few months from now, we are in, March right now?
Yeah.
We're gonna add something, all the relevant links, that if they show up in the future, just send it to me. I will add it under the video.
Yeah. And don't forget to mention that the link will allow them to get free copies of the book. Yeah, on your show.
Even better.
Yeah, on your show, Michael.
Even better.
Yeah.
Not on Oprah show.
No,
on Michael Serwa show.
Michael Serwa show. Yeah.
I have a little gift for you.
But I mean, I must say, Michael, that, you know, I stumbled across your show, and I started watching, and I'm like, wow, this guy is doing some.
It's my new baby.
I know some fantastic stuff, and you know, trust me, I know we know where we're coming from. You know, when we met years ago, I know where you were. I remember when we had that first lunch meeting downstairs at South Bank, and we started talking about
it was
where you wanted to go and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like,
no, if you were female, I would totally hit on you.
I know,
because it was like connection there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, damn, too bad, like.
Hairy chest, hair on the face.
No, like facial hair on women doesn't do it for me. On men, I have a little gift for you.
Thanks, Mike.
I remember that one of your businesses was basketball related.
Yes. And the summer is coming up. It's perfect. You know, I'm a basketball fanatic, so.
So it's good I didn't get that.
Yes.
It's good I didn't get the volleyball.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, shit.
Yeah, every time I score a basketball list, I'll think about it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting me. It was a pleasure, man.
It's been a pleasure. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and I see you next time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.